Ms. Felter? Here.
Have a quorum. Is Mr. Fowler in the back?
When we came in here.
Okay.
Oh, he just arrived.
He's arrived? All right. I'm gonna say he just arrived. There we go.
All right, here, this is what I heard.
Say he just arrived. All right.
There you go, Chuck, you holding up everybody. Okay, you want to-
Madam Clerk, please let's reflect that Mr. Fowler is alive and present with us. All right. Item number 1, to consider final adoption of an ordinance annexing 5 acres of land situated in Section 26, Township 4 North, Range 2 West, Rapides Parish, Louisiana, and being that property shown on the attached description, requesting zone classification I-1 Light Industrial District.
Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the administration, we recommend favorable passage and note this in no way violates and in fact comports with our annexation policy, which is a several-pronged test to ensure that fire, police, and all other parts of public safety, plus land use, et cetera, are met. You have a map of where this is directly across from Johnny Downs and contiguous with other properties in the city. There were no incentives provided. This is a purely private development. It is non-population affecting, so it makes no impact on population. It creates the opportunity for property tax, inventory tax, depending on what happens one day with that. It also puts a piece of property under all our utilities, commercial, which is great. The developer is asked to do it, and most importantly, it provides for sales taxes, which is how we fund all of the operations and capital projects of the city. So there's literally on our checklist no negative to doing it.
I think it's in my district, is it District 5?
I think it is District 5.
Okay. I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the June 9th, 2025 letter from the city, it mentions bullet point 3, engineering suggested that a detention pond will be required because of poor drainage. Do you have anything to say about that?
There's a question to the developer, if you'd like to address that. We have Mr. Joey Vercher here, who is the developer, and he'll be happy to address that if the council please.
Okay, if I understand the question, is there a need for a retention pond? First of all, it's a 5-acre site, and Steve Fontenot is actually the engineer, which I have a meeting next week with him. He was waiting to do the complete design. We have a rendering that shows what the property is going to be used for. It's going to be used for a facility for WPI, which is an industrial user. Right now, they're subleasing in the old H&E building, and they will be moving out there. They will be actually positioned on about 3.5 acres of the 5 acres. The other portion will be a laydown.
Now, lay down, what do you mean by that?
In other words, they're going to use, because it's centrally located, and as the mayor pointed out, sales tax will be a big positive. They're going to use it as an area where they can have equipment stored here that may be sold and used to other areas of the state.
Okay.
And Mr. Fontenot is actually designing the actual building and the drainage, all the features that would go with this to be submitted to the city.
That's right.
For approval.
Mr. Chair, the fact that you would allow for the annexation so that it could be developed in the city, it's still subject to all our rules. If there became a need for a drainage issue, that would be dealt with by planning. And in fact, if we don't annex it, then it's not subject to our rules.
Which is one of the things that we're waiting, Mr. Fontenot, so that he knows what criteria to develop it to, or design it.
And Mr. Vercher, just, you get to know folks as you go. A lot of times, Mr. Laverdane, who's an astute attorney and person, knows exactly what he's asking, but he wants to put things on the record. So that's what he's doing right now. We're making sure that the public understands some of those things. And one of the most important ones is if you don't put it in the city, then we lose some of that authority that planning affords the city on that kind of thing. I'll just say on the last point on retention of detention ponds, for where that use is and what you go out and see now, I don't know what that'll come out to be, but it wouldn't be super important today as it might be in future developments as you open up that area. But certainly to do that now, they're going to have to go through and show their drainage, et cetera.
That's correct.
And your letter also notes, well, a letter on the city letterhead notes that a fire will request installation of a fire hydrant at that location. This letter, have you seen this letter?
No, sir, I've never seen it. I've never seen the letter that you're referring to.
Okay.
We would, assuming it's annexed, we'll have to comply with that, and so we will ensure that.
This property is located next to the FedEx
I'm
hub.
familiar with it.
Okay, and all utilities are readily available.
Yeah.
That's one reason that this site was chosen.
All right.
I think the chair is reading from some of the findings of the engineer, of city engineer, or planning.
Any questions, council members?
I move. May I ask the question?
Oh, Mr. Green has a question.
Thank you. Mr. Vercher, I've known you for 40-plus years,
Yes, sir.
and the mayor was mentioning the detention pond. I know where the location is. As a matter of fact, I went out Sunday and took pictures of the whole facility area. You're next door to FedEx, and I think that they have a detention pond there.
FedEx does, and they have a
FedEx
larger
does
site.
have one
They have
site.
a larger footprint. They do have, actually, they have two. And one of them actually was draining onto this property, which, probably will not happen in the future.
Okay, so I was out, but I had looked at this in depth over the weekend. So it says they suggest a detention pond. Are they going to build a detention pond? Or has anyone from the city seen the plans for this
Well, no,
site?
the plans actually, don't exist because, number one, we had to be annexed into the city so that we could apply and meet with the appropriate authorities with the city to do the planning. The engineer and I have a meeting at 10 o'clock Monday morning to discuss exactly what we're discussing today.
Right, so you haven't made any plans yet because you need it annexed in so you know what regulations to follow.
And it's not like a
Exactly.
zoning change where
Right.
y'all are letting someone, this is annexation. This is just allowing this project to occur in the city limits. All of your concerns are more ably and readily addressed once it's in the city. You want it in the city if you have those concerns.
And last thought, and I heard the mayor talk about the fire. There is a fire hydrant on location, Mr. Vercher, at the corner closest to that store. You would need another additional fire hydrant in that area?
Once again, that would be, something that I'm assuming I'd meet with somebody like Marty Campbell and the other individuals that work with the city of Alexandria to determine that. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm assuming that the engineer will take care of solving the issues if there is an issue that exists. But it's not uncommon in any development to, have to add additional infrastructure to make your development work, whether or not it be a fire hydrant, a larger turning radius to get into the property. CLECO is actually the provider of the utilities there, not the city of Alexandria. It's a unique little spot.
Mhm.
So there are multiple, individuals you have to meet with to get some of those questions answered.
So it's, just for the record, again, it's normal to do all of that afterward. Annexation is the decision that you want, whatever is coming, assuming they meet all the requirements and can do it. It doesn't say you get to do it as you want, it just says when you do, it can be in the city.
Follow the city's criteria.
Yeah. Our criteria is stricter than the parish's criteria in general on projects. That's not an absolute, but that's near.
That's, I can tell you that's an absolute.
It's always an exception.
Yes, they said the same thing.
So our annexation policy is on the June 9th document, and so those are approvals of the project, and it just says firewood request. So that's to use the same terminology, that's not an absolute, that's what they're saying right now they would recommend. Engineering suggests, again, not an absolute, they're suggesting preliminarily that there be a detention pond.
Okay. All right. Any further questions?
I second Councilman
All right,
Fowler's.
I have a motion, I have a motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilman Felter. All in favor? No,
Thank
no,
you.
no, no, that's right, all right. This matter will now be placed on the agenda, so this committee is adjourned. All right. Who has the other one? Who's the chair of 80s? Who's chair of 80s?
I am. Where'd you go? Where you end up going? Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
Oh, he's a fashion.
Jim Jules, here. Good, how are you, sir? You leaving?
Oh, I thought I wasn't.
Good afternoon, the A&E Committee, Selection Committee, Agenda July 1st, 2025. Roll call, Madam Clerk, please.
Again, here.
It's
Mr. Ballard.
here,
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Green.
present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. As the state chair, Alexandria City Council meetings and council committee meetings are broadcast live and may be viewed live by the public on Optimum Channel, Cable Channel 4. A rebroadcast may be viewed on Optimum Channel 4. For those who do watch it, it is at 10:30 in the morning, 6:30 in the evening, and 3:30 a.m. And also on the City of Alexandria website. Today's committee meeting is to consider proposals from firms or services professionals for Alexandria City Hall chilled water plant project. Mayor, is Mr. Gill present? Would he like to say anything before we go further?
It'd either be him or Marcus, or Miss Meyer, I'm sorry. They told me that a while ago.
Good afternoon. This project was necessary based on the current two chilled water plants actually failing. They are 150 ton. And at this point in time, for this facility and the way that it has been broken up, they were actually too small when it was created. So with reviewing everything, we have a project in place. Assuming we actually select an engineer today, we had 3 firms that actually put in proposals through the RFQ, EMA, ADG, and M&E. The highest scoring was ADG, which also has a local office here. And these individuals also have worked previously with HVAC systems such as these as chilled, cooled water facilities, because most people don't use these anymore. But the cheaper option, as we reviewed it, would be to go with this same system that we have before, but at an increased capacity of 180 tons. In order to do that, you need an engineering firm that can actually put together the plans and make sure that everything is mechanically and electrically will work for us in our facility. And so we had those proposals were graded by 3 individuals. The A&E committee did receive those 3 individual grades and also the total grading as well. Mr. Green?
Thank you. Mr. Ballard or Mr. Johnson, any questions?
I have one question. You said these are very seldom used in municipalities
So currently,
currently.
yes, so our unit is about 27 years old. It's at the end of its useful life. And so now when people build new facilities, they don't use the same system. And so it's easier if you're building a building from the ground up, as we all know. It's a lot of times it's cheaper than demoing. And so for us, we have to go in, demo what we have now and install new, and that is actually cheaper and will make more sense for the city of Alexandria. But if you're building like a new facility, most people wouldn't use that system.
And I kind of like the idea that ADE has an officer in Alexandria, so it does have this little local presence for some of our constituents here like this to buy local. So I think I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and go with the proposals that ADE proposed for us, the one that the city engineers recommended.
Okay, Mr. Villard, just for the public's records, the scoring are M&E 234, EMA 265, and ADG 270. So in that chronological order, as Mr. Villard said, he's made a motion. Can I get a second?
I second.
To go with the ADG firm, which has a local office here in Alexandria as well, to rectify our problem here at City Hall. And we thank you kindly for your interpretation of what we were going through.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions on this? Thank you.
Thank you. We got a
That
vote?
concludes A and E. If there's something else,
Do we need a vote?
no, it
Okay.
goes to
Okay.
committee to the full council at 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
This committee is adjourned. Thank you all for your presence.
4. A rebroadcast may be viewed on Optum Cable Channel 4 in the City of Alexandria website. We'll have the invocation by Councilwoman Felter and the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Lawberdane.
Please join me in prayer. Father, thank you so much for this day, for a chance to come together to serve our beautiful city. I ask that you would give us hearts that love you so that it overflows into service to you. God, that every decision we make, every conversation we have would glorify you and would honor you. You're a great example of what that means, and so we want to follow where you lead us. We love you. We thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the roll call.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Felter?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Present.
Fowler? Here. Mr. Millard?
Present.
Mr. Lawberdane?
Here.
Ms. Perry?
Here.
Madam President, you have the floor.
Okay, we have approval of the minutes taken from the regular meeting held on June 20th, 2025. I need a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilwoman Felter. We have public comments. Mr. White,
Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome, sir.
Welcome back, Madam President.
Thank you so much.
First, I want to hope and pray that we have a happy and blessed 4th of July coming up. It'll be America's 249th. On the minutes, like I said, I just disagree on the public needs more comment, and I hope y'all will try to set up some cooling stations and getting ready to get hot and everything. And I hope y'all will go over some of this carbon capture. So, thank you for letting me say it.
Thank you, Mr. White. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
F, consent calendar. Number 1, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted to Spun pre-stressed wood pole equivalent concrete poles. Number 2, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for annual vehicle bid, current model year or new. Number 3, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for annual uniform bid for fire department. Number 4, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for single-phase pole mount transformers. Number 5, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for single-phase pad mount transformers. Number 6, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for three-phase pad mount transformer. Number 7, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a technical services agreement with MCD Consulting LLC. Number 8, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a master service agreement with CSRS LLC for engineering and related services and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I need a motion, please.
Move.
Okay, motion by Councilman Ballard, second by Councilman Fowler. Any items to the committees? G.
No, let's put to the legal. Yes. 2 and 3.
G, resolution. Resolution confirming the reappointment of Ronald Morgan to serve as a commissioner on the Greater Alexandria Economic Development Authority representing District 2.
Move.
Second.
I would like for
I'm
you,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
and I accept your apologies.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
Motion by Councilman Ballard, second by Councilman Green. Public comments, discussion, all in favor?
I got discussion.
Discussion?
Yes, I want to thank Ron, I call him Ron, and Ron and I are not brothers. People, a lot of people, Ron and my brothers, my brother served in in the war zone in the 90s, so he knew my brother before he knew me. But he's been a great friend of mine for over 20 years, and he's doing an exceptionally well job. Thanks, Ron. Okay?
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 10, resolution to adopt HUD reports for program year 2024 and 2025 CAPER.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Ballard, second by Councilman Johnson. Public comments, discussion.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor, what am I looking at here?
So the CAPER is adopted each year, and the council has to approve it. It's required annually by HUD, and it has to go over all of our program activities that are to be and are funded and executed in the previous program year for CDBG and home funds, both of which come from HUD. And so, for example, CDBG minor rehab covered 40 houses for a total of $338,048. CDBG lead remediation, we did 19 houses for $350,890.59. CDBG code enforcement, 339 complaints for $46,572, led to 30 owner demos. Owner demos led to 30.
So what does that mean?
So those complaints being addressed led to owner required demolition, which you want.
We didn't tear them
told
So
them
it's not putting it on the city. CDBG demolition, we did 32 residential structures, and you've heard us talking about that 32. There's a 15-day public comment period that lasted from 6/13/25 to 6/30, where we have a public comment for the CAPER. There's a citizen advisory committee that has appointments to it.
And who's on that committee, Mayor?
I don't have the names in front of me, but we might have it in the CAPER itself, and I can look it up for you. Some of them have been long-term folks. That's not going to be in the book, but diverse from different walks, and but I'll get you the names. I think
The comment I had
certainly know a few.
was that I was very encouraged to see that we had 30 owner demos. I think that's huge because that's less taxpayer dollars that have to be spent
That's
to
correct.
clean up things that need to be cleaned up. So that was, I thought that was a really positive thing. Plus, the amount of houses that we did through this was great.
Yep, and so we do this each year. We pass the CAPER. There's opportunity to affect change within it at any time that council members want to look at it. It's a rather large document, but it's a built document over many, many years. And so, but you can obviously at all times make requests, and we can talk about amending whatever we would need to do.
All right, so I would just just have some more comments. Now, we spent, $338,000 was spent rehabbing 40 homes. If my math is math, and that's $8,400 per home. What are some of the things that was used to rehab the homes?
Like I know roofs, one thing.
You talking about minor rehab stuff?
Yes.
Insulation, roofs, there's all kind of problems that happen.
Well, they apply for it.
Yeah, it's not something you just go do. They
I
apply
understand
for
what we did roofing. We did roofing?
primarily roofing.
Roofing, okay. And do we know how many people applied and how many were turned down? Or do we-
Minor repairs, 269 applied, and awarded was 40 rehab contracts.
So you get a lot of,
Repeat that?
260, somebody can book 269.
Okay, all right, the next page, all right.
Yeah.
so you have a lot more applications, obviously, and approvals, and then, as we talked about last time, some of the unfortunate thing is you'll have a lot of applications from folks that you can't always get it because it's not owners. Unfortunately, it's people that will be renting places, and if there's not agreement there, they're not the owner to make the application.
Okay. Do we have enough money in this program?
So this program is funded by HUD. This is federal
HUD.
money,
Federal funding.
so it's on a formula that we get.
Okay. All right. And I assume we're getting the max amount?
We're getting the max amount that our city can get.
And the lead remediation, Is that for paint or pipes or both?
But any lead remediation.
And I do know, like, when we have the meetings, that Shirley usually have, what we find out with a lot of people that actually apply is that a lot of people apply and they have missing information, and when they're asked to bring that information back, some people doesn't bring the requirements that they need to complete their application. We find that when people are, that doesn't qualify. So
It's several things going in besides that. You have your income is the biggest thing, the biggest driver. If you make a certain amount, you can't apply, or some people try to apply, and once they bring their income in, that disqualifies them. Some of them have their information wrong, And pretty much that program, when it comes open at a small window, so you gotta get in as fast as you can. Pretty much first come, get your application in as soon as you see it.
We get a good bit of
We do get
information
it.
out for it, and Ms. Branham wants us to know that it's paint, it's not being used for pipes. Sandra Augustine, I think, is on it, Joyce Thompson, Kitty Wynn, Bubba McCall, Edna Pellerin, and Lisa Donan.
Okay.
That's on the CAC.
All right. So it looks like we get about $700,000 a year from HUD if my public school math is working properly?
Just
These
on,
programs.
for these programs.
These two programs.
Okay.
We get more than that in different programs.
Yes, for him to do. Okay. Any more discussion?
Yes, Madam President and Mayor, the item H, number 1, Bethel Apartments, replacing $750,000. That is to help, what is it $750 for? I know they're moving those people out, so are we tearing it down with that or what? It's not a.
So you're talking about just that are in the action items that they're looking at? You're not
Correct.
talking about,
Requesting funding from the City Office of Community Development for the developing of replacing housing at 3409 Eddie Williams Boulevard,
so the
Williams Street, excuse me.
Bethel is subject to foreclosure. Bethel was built long before any of us were serving, and there's a host of reasons.
I think Chuck was serving.
I don't think with Bethel was, but in any event, I don't want to be too negative, but the city doesn't manage Bethel. I'll just let it lie that through a series of actions on the part of those managing and et cetera, Bethel is in trouble, but it has probably originally close to 90 HAP contracts that go with a unit. And so what we're trying to do is salvage or do something with Bethel. It couldn't be rebuilt there. We've gone over this with Madam President because it's our district. It cannot be redone there because the cost to rebuild Bethel where it is on that spot would be prohibitive because it would have to be raised so high. It's in a floodplain. But we have located another area. I have been to Baton Rouge several times personally to meet with Commissioner of Administration Barra. Most recently met with the Commissioner's head person, Gina Campo, over this, and we were trying desperately to salvage a new Bethel and move those contracts there. Bethel, unlike lots of the stuff you hear us talk about, which is mid-mod, so it'll be, not mid-mod, minimum and moderate housing assistance. Bethel is true what we used to call Section 8. Some people kind of think of that as pejorative now, but that's the section number of the law that it applies. But that's a need, and so we're trying to replace it. It doesn't fit any of the hazard mitigation other funds that used to exist for it. We are trying to get them to think hard about that, and as a matter of fact, Ms. McGills and I will work on it for an hour this morning back with the Commissioner's office and to get people involved. And we are now at the Governor's office. I'm making some requests there to try to get somebody to intervene and save all those contracts. Some people, as Mr. Green pointed out, have been relocated. The HAP contract can follow elsewhere. It doesn't have to stay there. It can
So what does that
move
mean?
on.
So what does that mean?
So the contract can follow the deed of a person who qualifies for it, and some people have been relocated.
You can
You know,
go
these aren't
anywhere
exact
with
numbers,
those.
guys, so I'm going to be as close as I can be. But
That
let's say it
money.
was 90 keys or 90 units, that the original, there were 90 HAP contracts that went with them, somewhere in that number, give or take. In today's money, you would probably be only looking at 78 or so keys to equal that 90. HUD is okay with that. That would still be within what we would need to build, and that's what we're trying to do. So this project is going to be in default, meaning that after all these years and despite all the time that it has had to function, the failure caused by management issues puts that on the back of the city taxpayer.
How much?
The full default is probably close to $800,000. And so unlike other stuff we would do, so in HUD, there's a section called Section 108, which is a guarantee program where you can borrow against it. So if a city went and did a project, you put Section 108, if you put that money in it and you were to default as a city, we worked on this years ago. I'm looking at Mr. Laverne because he may remember something about it. But if you default on those, it doesn't come out of the pocket of the city as someone on that mortgage, Mr. Laverne. Instead, it comes out of your future CDBG allocation. So it just ratchets it down. That is still terrible when you're a $500,000 to $750,000 allocatee city, but you're not having to pay anything. This is a mortgage that the city is on as a guarantor of this project. And so normally in these kind of things, I would say that it's unfair, say definitely here, that after this much time and the value that's been put in it, we wouldn't be forgiven of that, but we're not. So we're trying to get this to someone else. We have met with several reputable, often applying for these and winning them project coordinators, one of whom is David Strange, who did the project, which is
The gated
Gates at
community.
River Chase, so he's very familiar with what to do. And I will tell you that, you know, out of his own pot, he has been chasing this to try to do it. He's doing a lot to help us do it. Our last meeting went very well. I was told by Ms. McGill's this morning that the commissioner's office had said that they don't think we qualify for any kind of exception, and so now I'm at a different level, and there's only one level above the Commissioner of Administration. And so we're going to try to move it
They've
that way.
been, how long has this Bethel apartment been there? 30 years?
69?
It's,
And they haven't paid their mortgage down?
so they refinance and refinance and refinance, and we stay on top of it because we allowed it. We allow it because of the need that's there. Ms. Loverdane, you and I have talked about what we'd like to see in the type of housing we sponsor, more in the home ownership and in other things, but I know Ms. McGill's has a passion about it, has expressed that, and she met with Madam President Perry. This is a need, though.
It is definitely a need.
These have, it is Section 8 style housing, but there is a need, and we're going to continue to chase them till the last breath we have in it. So I'll give you all a report later. I wasn't prepared to give that tonight, but I'm pretty sure most of the numbers I gave you are within a 90% degree of
What you're
certainty.
telling me is we're about to take an $800,000 hit.
I don't know that. We've been fighting this since I came back for 2 years and hadn't taken the hit yet, but the default was, we walked in on that default started, and it, you know, again, I don't want to disparage Bethel was part of it was the church project. There was
Is the church still
there's a lot of,
open? I don't think
there was
so.
insurance funds that weren't put, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that isn't city stuff or our fault, but we're going to have to deal with it.
Because I had
It's not
several
Bethel
people
Church today. That's,
even contact me about the church, and I knew that I couldn't do anything about what took place at the church. I had people contact me about the apartments as well. I do know that we still have tenants in that apartment, but I do know that when I spoke with Ms. McGill, that I really told her that once all of those tenants are out, we definitely need to see what HUD is going to do about tearing those apartments down, rather than boarding them up, because we know that things will happen.
It's probably going to be on us, Ms. Berry, to do everything, and I think we just as a group need to decide, we're not going to let it sit, and we're going to move with speed to clear that site, which could then be something else. The last thing you want to do is leave it there.
Absolutely.
Yes. So they're in a transition, but I can tell you right now, we're having to do we're doing things that we wouldn't normally do, and that normally I would consider an Article 7 issue that I don't hear because it's an emergency. We have to go take care of things out there that we have an interest in it, obviously a pecuniary interest in our mortgage piece, but grass, other things that they can't pick up the trash.
Yeah.
It's a commercial, so they're responsible for that. So I can either let that become a public emergency, or when it gets bad enough, send people out, and that's what we're doing.
Right. Okay.
But those are the negatives. The positive are we need to have something happen with those contracts. There's a need.
And we'll work it out.
Okay.
Well, Mayor, may I say, today the Senate passed that massive bill. It's been introduced into the House of Representatives, and if it passes, I've been told that the governor is going to start a new special session, so I'm looking for us to lose more money next year for HUD. I was surprised that it passed 50-50 with the Vice President breaking the tie 50-51. It goes back to the House today, so I've been told if it goes and passes through the House, Governor Landry will call a special session so we can start getting ready for all types of cuts, just not in HUD, all kind of scenarios, so people get ready. But I thank you for addressing that Bethel Department situation, Madam President. That's all I had to say on that item. Thank you.
You're welcome. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 11, resolution confirming the reappointment of Curtis Lewis to serve as a commissioner on the Greater Alexandria Economic Development Authority representing District 3.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Valord, second by Councilman Johnson. I want to thank my commissioner, Dr. Lewis, for his outstanding job serving as my commissioner. Thank you for all you've done, and I know that you will continue to do a good job, so thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
may I, and it is germane because we're speaking of the Gator Board Commissioners. Gator's a board of 7, currently with 4. We have 3 missing. Do we know when those 3 will be appointed?
I'm looking into it now, mine, trying to find someone who'll serve.
Well, they've been missing for a while.
I just-
So if we got to do something about this, I mean, since it's germane to the subject, we cannot,
Actually, I
Keep
don't
on.
think it's germane to the subject because it's appointing a commissioner, a
well,
reappointing.
this president right there, I mean, she didn't say anything about it, but something has to be done.
Well, everybody spoke before the president did.
Okay.
So now that you guys have addressed that issue, Mr. Valord said he was looking into it. Councilman Felter, you're looking into it as well? Okay, so do you guys have a time frame?
Won't y'all find someone that will accept it?
Okay. All right then.
Is there currently a quorum that's appointed?
Yes.
You can go to the next item.
You need to vote on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 12, a resolution authorizing advertisement for bid for the 2025-2028 water well maintenance and rehabilitation contract.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Council Fowler, second by, motion by Council, second by Council Valord. Public comments by Mr. White.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome, sir.
You know, with this water thing, and like I said, I hope and pray y'all are looking at this carbon capture, because that can contaminate our groundwater. So I know that's maintenance on the water thing, but we need to look into that. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
H, ordinances for final adoption subject to public hearing. Number 13, to consider final adoption of an ordinance annexing 5 acres of land situated in Section 26, Township 4, North, Range 2 West, Rapides Parish, Louisiana, and being that property shown on the attached description, requesting zoning classification of I-1 Light Industrial District.
Motion, please. Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilman Valord. Public comments? Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 14, to consider final adoption of ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for a minimum of 130-passenger trolley. The administration is requesting that this item be removed from the agenda.
So moved.
Second. How about that?
Public comments? Discussion?
Mayor, what's the plan moving forward on this?
Yeah, and I would ask the parliamentarian and Mr. Gist, on behalf of Madam Clerk, to make sure that the council does not remove it in a manner that it can't be rebid. Our intent is, as I instructed or talked about last time I instructed my staff, I thought it came in high, so I wanted it rebid anyway. Mr. Lawberdane, we had a good talk a week and a half ago about the real purpose of putting a trolley on a line that would be in this reimagined corridor on Masonic, and also the one on Jackson Street that's more about nightlife, et cetera. That's the purpose we want for it. It came in high. We think we need to try to get it under that amount. It's not that it would be needed tomorrow, but we would like an opportunity to put together a new package and put a bid out again. So whatever we need to do to not kill it for 6 months, or at least to be able to start again within 6 months, we'd like to do that.
The email that I received stated that that the administration would submit a new fact sheet at the time that they're to re-advertise.
If I could ask, as Madam Clerk stated, for that to be a substitute motion to just a straight removal, that the administration, when ready, presents a new fact sheet with a new bid process.
Yes.
Move as stipulated. Second.
All in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you, Ms. Lawrence. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Number 15, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for fire station number 4, roof leak repairs.
Motion, please.
Move.
A second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Valord, second by Councilman Fowler. Public comments? Mr. White?
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome, sir.
We need to back our firefighters, so I'm glad y'all fixing that, and pray for the 2 firefighters that lost their lives with that sniper. So yes, we need to support the fire.
Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. This meeting is adjourned. I'm sorry.
Before adjournment, Madam, if I could borrow one of your personal privileges, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank Dr. Lewis, Mr. Morgan as well for their service, and note the difficulty with which even tonight rears its head a bit, and thank you both for staying committed and the hard work that it's taken, and hopefully there's going to be better days as we work better together, and as you know, the administration's committed. I want to especially thank Dr. Lewis. It's hard to lead during those times, too, and I know there's been a lot of consternation, so thank you for your commitment, sir. We appreciate it.
And also, I want to recognize Mr. Morgan's lovely wife, because I know she is his backbone.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.
Attorney Goins, may I see you with Ms. Jones in her office, and before you depart, please, thank you.